times now, I guess.
Oh,
However
okay.
old it is.
Can you hear this?
Hello.
Am I
Hello.
audible?
Let's see. Do you see your level?
Yeah, I can confirm. I can hear you guys on YouTube. Maybe not Kevin, but one sec.
There we go. I had to remove it all and redo it because it wouldn't let me choose. All right, and okay, I see me. I am moving volumes now. You guys talk and say something real quick.
I hear
All right.
Kevin.
Holy cow! This update really screwed up everything. My levels are way off, so hopefully I'm not too loud or too quiet here. All right, let's just give this a go.
Everyone's about the same for me.
Can
You
hear us
sound. Everything sounds good on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was looking for. All right, let's start this over again.
All right.
Erase everything that just happened. Welcome to the live show. This is where everything goes live, and we'll start over. And I lost my note. There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 44. This is titled A Year in Review. This is our end of the year spectacular of everything gaming we've done in 2021. It has been a wild ride this year. And if this show of us trying to get our audio in didn't show us how wild it was, I don't know what else would. Tonight, I've got myself, Kevin, and then fellow host Elix, Zahi, and newcomer Aaron, who's been joining us on Link Cable Gaming on the website and here at the podcast.
Yay! Hi, Aaron.
So, hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys all doing? It's been a little while.
Very good.
Doing good.
We had some
yeah.
exams.
All right.
Crazy times. Winter's here, at least for, well, we all kind of live relatively close to each other.
Yeah.
So
We're all in the same time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same time, so you're close by.
Very.
It would take me 6 hours to drive to any of you guys' houses right now.
Wow.
I'm an island.
He's been creeping on us, figuring out how far away we live. This is weird.
6 hours and 23 minutes and 53 seconds.
Exactly to the point.
Exactly.
Right to the door.
If there's 2 semi trucks on the road, I am out of luck. I can't make it there on time.
Jeez.
So
you're welcome. Bring pizza. That's all we
that sounds
ask.
really good. So I think with our episode today, we're going to kind of maybe go around and probably going to have more of like roundtables for our discussions and not just a person by person, but talk about some of the games we played this year, talk about our favorite games, and then we're also going to hit on some of the stuff from the Game of the Year Awards, which was, I believe, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago now? It's
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Thursday before.
Yeah, whenever it was. So we're going to probably hit on that. So who wants to start off by just throwing some games out they played this year, and we can kind of talk about who likes what and whatnot. And it's going to be hard to remember all the way back in January what actually came out. So so who's got a game they want to go first and talk about and say how great it was or how terrible it was?
I'll kick it off.
You'll kick it off, Alex?
I'll kick it off then.
Great.
So I keep lists of everything, and I think, Kevin, you do too. I kept a list of all the games that I finished in 2021. It's not necessarily all the games I played. I would add them if I finished them, but I didn't. And I was going through it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I played that. And then one of them really stuck out, and I wanted to just kind of highlight how it took about 4 years to finish this game.
Oh, geez. 4 years.
Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Late comer to that party.
I started it on the day it came out. I 100% finished my file this year.
100%. Okay.
Yeah.
You got your golden turd.
I got the golden turd. Spoilers, everyone. You finish the game, you get a literal poop statue.
It's 5 years in. I think they're okay.
But I just wanted to, like, even in like 2021 when like the Switch is like, it's still modern, but it's like you know what you get out of a Switch game. And Breath of the Wild still holds up. Like, it's still really good to go back to and just kind of like just walk around and
just got that handy.
Yeah, just got it within arm's reach. I just
love it. I love my Switch.
But like, yeah, I know, like, it's an older game to talk about. It's not like, oh, let's talk about like this game that came out 3 weeks ago or anything. But like in 2021, that was a big part of my year, and like finally seeing the little 100% completion and getting my golden turd and just being able to say like that's it, like I've done Breath of the Wild. Like it's that was like my first big gaming memory of the year, and I wanted to make sure I shared it on the show. It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I
there's
remember you talking about that earlier in the year with that. You were going hardcore trying to find all those.
It was
fruit
really
seeds, whatever
intense.
they were.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like obviously, like I didn't when I first played the game, I was just finding the Korok seeds, like stumbling across them. So I wasn't really keeping like a documented list of the ones I found. But then when it was like, all right, you're only missing like 15 of them, it was like I need to make a list of the ones I missed, and I'm trying to find like these lists online and stuff that would help me, like maps and things like that. And then if I accidentally marked
Maps.
one,
This game is crazy.
well, I needed a map to be like, oh, I found this one, but like there's one like 5 feet away that I didn't get, and then trying to like, check them off. That was a project all its own, like just being able to like.
Tedious thing to do. Like it takes so long whenever you've got to use interactive maps for that level of collectibles. Like it's not a big deal when there's 20, 30, 100 even, but 900 is absurd.
Yeah,
There's
and
900 eggs.
900
seeds.
little
Seeds?
Korok seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. And I screwed up too. Like
Wow.
I screwed up where I marked one as done, and it wasn't true, and so I had to start over at least once, maybe twice.
Good lord.
So it like Breath of the Wild in 2021 for me was kind of like a game where I was like you really get to experience it in a different way when you're looking at like the minutia of it all. Yeah, it was a fun time. I kind of wish I could. It's one of those games that I wish I could erase my memory of it and play it for the first time again. I don't think I'm gonna play it for a really long time, guys. I think my save file finished at about 250 hours.
Lord.
All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think I'm good for a bit, but yeah, I just wanted to. That's what I wanted. Like that was my first memory of 2021 gaming, was putting Breath of the Wild to bed finally, and because I don't know, part of me was a little worried that Breath of the Wild 2 was going to come out any moment now, and I didn't want to have the first one still kind of like hanging over my head. I wanted to have that one done before moving on, and now I have time, obviously, because who knows when that one's coming out. But yeah, that's what I'm kicking this off with, is a game from 2017.
So what was the your first game that you finished this year on your list?
Breath of the Wild.
Well, that was the first two? Okay.
It was January 16th is the day. So I mostly did all that work at the end of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year you were like going crazy into the eggs or into the seeds.
Yeah.
I wasn't as smart as you. I have a list of the games completed, but I didn't put a date, and I kind of wish I did. Because I'm like going back, the first game I beat was Resident Evil 2. But I wish I had a date for that. Because now I just have a bunch of random games in a list that doesn't really make much sense.
I suppose I'll probably do that this coming year too.
Yeah, this is my New Year's resolution.
I don't even know what games I played the first few months.
Link Cable Gaming's advice, everyone: make lists. There's nothing funner than spreadsheets and Excel.
Yeah, I know. All right, we'll pop over to you, Aaron. What game did you play the first part of the year that was pretty memorable to you, that made you just be like, I love gaming?
I can't remember any game that I played explicitly in the beginning of the year, but the game I've been playing all year is Genshin Impact. It came out in September last year, and I've been playing it literally daily since then. So that's the game that's definitely sapped the most time of my life the last 15 or so months.
You need to get me into some Genshin, man. Okay, can you tell me the proper pronunciation? Is it Genshin or
it's
Genshin?
G. It's a hard G.
It's
I saw the video. It's not a J.
Oh my god.
It is Genshin Impact.
So we were in the chat that day, and we're like, "Oh yeah, she's like doing a good job right now." Wait, did she just say Genshin? Is it?
Yeah,
Is it
it was
soft G
memed
or a
all
hard
over
G?
the place. Like the
Oh,
moment that
man.
happened, it was all over Reddit and everything. Just, I
Because
felt
I
bad for
never
the poor
played
girl.
Genshin. Oh man, she got roasted. I never played Genshin, and I'm like, wait, How is it pronounced?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, if she was right, I would believe it. Like, I believe it either way. Like, I not being a
Yeah.
big Genshin player, I'd be like, okay. So
Not being a
I've been
big Genshin player.
pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, no.
Genshin. Now I'm gonna always say that because I'll forget what it is.
I know, right? What is it about Genshin Impact? Like, why have you been so deep into it?
Well, I'm a sucker for RPGs, grinding for gear, optimizations of like stats, collectability of just like new characters come out every generally 6 weeks. There's one or two new people. Um, I have a slight addiction to gambling apparently when it comes to mobile games.
Are you playing it
You-
mobily or are you playing it on the console?
It's on PC and PS5. I think I've played maybe like 3 hours total on mobile, and 90% of that is just using my Google Play funds to buy whatever like monthly pack in the game because it's a thumbprint away.
Ah, I see.
But yeah,
What
just
is
a
Genshin
huge map.
about? Like,
Let's see
is it an
what
open
game.
world? Like, everyone always
Yeah, it's
here
it's
because
an
I want to
open
play
world
it.
exploration action RPG. So the combat, essentially the gist of it is you have four characters that you're using at any given time. Each one has its own weapon type and elemental affinity. Um, Most of the elements will react with each other in some way, so there's a lot of strategy in terms of like, okay, I'm going up against a water enemy, so obviously can't use water attacks. It's not going to do much. But if I use ice, he'll freeze. If I use electricity, he's going to become electrocuted, and if he's in a puddle, it'll sap everyone else around him. Fire and electric will cause like an overconduct explosion almost. So lots of stuff going on the screen whenever you're in the combat, but all the characters are pretty fleshed out in personality and design, and yeah,
It's
just
it's
lots and lots.
very Breath of the Wild, which was just like Alex pick. So
Yes,
apparently
it was
everybody's just playing Breath of the
heavily
Wild games right now.
it was heavily scrutinized whenever it first came
Yeah.
out that it was just ripping off
A Breath of
Breath of the Wild, but like
I
any game that does well, of course, it's gonna branch out.
I remember when it was first revealed, and there was some guy who like brought his PS4 to some event and just like smashed it on the ground like out of like game rage for some reason. It made no sense, and everyone was like, "Why are you okay? Like you're that mad
What
about
is your
this game?"
problem?
And like Genshin and Breath of the Wild, like they have similarities, but like they don't play the same. Like it's
No, not at all.
so it was
Zelda
it
has
was
always been a way bigger focus on puzzles and just
Mhm.
overall exploration, not so much the combat. The combat
Yep.
is a means to solving your puzzle and well, saving Hyrule.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was such a
that's
wild time.
interesting. I never actually thought about it from that way. I love looking at games critically like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Sorry guys, I just updated to the paid version of voice mod for a little bit because I want to play with these features in the show because the soundboard
So-
stuff's kind of cool. So
Kevin's game of the year is the sound mod feature.
it's actually pretty
on
fun,
Discord.
but okay, here's my test. I'm gonna see if this works because I have it coming through the stream now. I see my volume mixer going up, but I want to see if you guys can hear this.
Yeah.
I can definitely hear that.
Okay, so this is like the
Very festive.
retro games pack that comes with it.
That sounds like an Atari 2600 game.
Yeah, these are a little
Like
less
that-
fun than I wanted them to be. But they have like a ton of different things now, so when we're talking, I can be like,
I have a slide whistle. Do you want me to?
yeah, what is? Wait, there's
Sorry,
like a
Mike.
ton of things we have here. Oh, this is gonna be fun, you guys. I have prankster things. Like if I want, let's see. What about this? Uh-oh. We're getting into dangerous territory.
You're gonna be like one of those like. Oh, that's good. You're gonna be like one of those like early 2000s, late 90s like radio shock jocks.
I
and just,
know.
like,
Welcome back.
flushing-
Here we are. There's,
just
like, so
flush us
many,
down the
too.
toilet or something.
Okay, I'm done having fun. They're just gonna pop in now randomly, so get ready for that. All right, Zahi, let's go up to yours. What have you played the beginning part of this year? Get it? We're
Okay,
jumping
so-
over to Zahi.
I like it.
Me too.
Um,
That one's
I
staying.
think
I
that
needed
was
the
it.
stream
I
deck.
think the first the early part of the year, the game I played the most, which was I think my 2020 Game of the Year winner, was Demon's Souls.
Mm.
That was an incredibly fun experience of a game just to see Blue Point's remake, like a 2009 game that was just as high quality as like the later titles, but Demon's Souls was my like early 2021 game for sure. It was mainly the only reason was because it was the only game that at the time I had that was like PlayStation 5 quality. I didn't get Miles Morales, and I got the PS5 discless version or digital version late into after it came out, so I didn't get it day one. So it was the only game that I had that was like I felt like next gen that I really wanted to like look at and play. At least from a graphical standpoint, the gameplay is exactly the same as the original Demon Souls. Like a bit of touch ups, because visually, this is the weird. This was the really weird thing about Demon Souls. Okay, the game felt like it was playing like 2009 quality of graphics and like gameplay, but it didn't look like it.
Yeah, it
So
looks
playing
really nice.
it does. So if you had told me, if you had plucked a random person off the street who had never heard of Demon Souls or From Software games or Dark Souls or anything like that, and told them this is a completely brand new IP, this is a brand new game that you've never in your life seen before, it doesn't feel like it would have been, oh yeah, this is definitely a remake of a game that came out like 12 years ago now. Because like just visually and aesthetically, it's so much better. It kind of covers up the jank,
The
but like
jank. That's
seriously,
It
but
really
like
did impress me when like they were showing it off, I think for the first time, and like how the transitions from one like area to the other
it's
were just
amazing.
like instant. Like it was like, oh, there's no loading times. That's next gen. Like that impressed me as someone who uh didn't really have much of affinity for the Souls games before. I like that stands out as like I kind of want to get this game just for how it
Seamless.
flows. Yeah.
It's an
SSDs are
exception.
wonderful.
And it's an exceptionally flowy game. Like just how beautiful it looks. I feel like in some weird way it actually looks better than Elden Ring, which is coming out in April now because it got delayed. And I was looking at trailers and
February.
comparing. Is it still February? It got delayed.
Still February.
Oh shit. And like I'm looking at it, I'm like Demon Souls looks better, but I think that's just because it's like Blue Point's.
it does look
like
better,
arts,
which I agree.
right? Right. Thank you. And I feel like that's just like Blue Point's like because it's PS5 only quality of style. So whereas Elden Ring is like split with last generation and this generation, and it still kind of stood out. I love Demon Souls. It was amazing.
I really
It,
wish they'd stop doing the previous gen and next gen for all these games.
oh my god, I'm
For a year
so
after at this point.
annoyed. Like it's been a thank you, Aaron. Thank you. Like why am I stuck on a PS4 or Xbox One? I know the majority of the population right now, I think it was 60 to 70% are still sitting at old gen.
Yeah, like I know they do it just for the money. Like it's
Oh
obvious.
yeah.
I mean, 100+ million PS4s and whatever it was, like 53 million Xbox Ones versus 21 million
12.
PS5s and Xbox Series at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
of course they're going to cater to the old gen, but at the same time, all they're really doing is just punishing the 21 million people who went next gen already for being early adopters by giving us no real, like, yeah, this is why we went new gen. It's just, well,
It's my
we want
major
the new
criticism of
toys. Like,
2021, man. No, it absolutely is.
I think a part of that though is something that they didn't really. I mean, Microsoft had announced that they were going to support the Xbox One until I think 2021 or 2022. They had originally said that. But I do think there's a part of it that plays into that these consoles are still impossible to find, and because of the chip shortage, they just like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft announced that they're reducing their production of their next gen system. So I think there's
yeah, by like 25%, I think.
yeah, I think
Good
that's
lord.
kind of plays into it is like you still need the games coming out and playable on something. Like I was actually just talking to my brother the other day, and he was having a really hard time finding a copy of Halo Infinite, just a disc of the game, and
Yeah, we
he
didn't
was
get
like,
any at work actually. Now that I
yeah,
think of it.
Wow.
it's this stuff's getting hard to find. Like, yeah, I think like you guys said, I think a lot of it has to do with like, hey, like there's these massive install bases that are still kind of pumping money into these systems. Let's keep that going to the detriment of fully going full next gen. But I think that we're just in complicated times for just a production timeline of things. Like it's harder to get physical things anymore. So I just wanted to throw that into the discussion.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely part of it, 100%. Like, there's not too much that you can say against that.
Well, I mean, I agree with you guys too. Like this was a while ago when Microsoft had announced that they were going to support and I'm looking at my Xbox One, which is off to the side here. When they first announced that, like, head over to Link Cable Gaming. My words are on the internet. Like, I did not like that idea. I thought that was a horrible idea. That's like, hey, like, why would you punish quote unquote your next gen adopters by making the games that they want to get kind of still tied to that older hardware? And like you kind of see it with Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5, where you could play it on the old VCR Xbox One model. That's unheard of. Like those consoles came out almost 10 years ago, and they're still getting very modern games. It's a very bizarre time overall.
Mm-hmm.
So Demon's Souls.
Yes. On that note,
On that note, Kevin, you're up. Early game of 2020 or 2021. Go.
Do you guys hear these sounds when I was hitting them?
A few.
Okay, I thought I muted it, and then I look, it still shows my volume thing going up and down, so you probably heard a lion and other things, so fail on my part. But I did find Christmas stuff. There's...
It is the season.
Yeah, I guess so. So I'm looking at my list. I'm trying to find out, like, looking at the first half of the year, like, what did I play that really stuck out? And there's not a lot. I played a lot of crappy games at the beginning of the year, you guys. I guess the first one, Resident Evil 2, was probably my favorite out of the bunch. But
that was our game of the year for 2019.
Really? Because it was not Kevin's of anything.
Well,
I guess probably my favorite one I played. I'm looking, of course, I didn't date anything, so I don't really know what time.
I know the favorite game you played.
Oh God, what? What are you gonna say?
Okay, can I say?
Yeah, let me hear what you're gonna say.
Elix.
Oh, okay, that's my second half. You're jumping ahead though. That's my second, next round when we go around again. The first half, the game I played, is probably gonna be Hitman 1, the Game of the Year edition. It's kind of a weird pick because I actually played Hitman 3, but I played Hitman 1 in Hitman 3. So I don't know. I think we talked about this in the show here.
We did.
And I did. It was one of my months in gaming. We did a video and stuff on it. And I bought Hitman 3, never played Hitman 3, and I pulled in the first game and let you play it in the Hitman 3 engine. And I loved that game. It was so much fun. Haven't gone back to play Hitman 2 or 3, but I guess out of the list I have, I did think that was a pretty fun game. And yeah, it was okay. First half of the year was kind of rare, so we're gonna keep moving though. Let's go back to Alex and then talk about the second half latter of the year. What games stuck out for you then?
There's 3 I want to talk about. But I'm gonna stick to these 2 because I played them back to back.
Okay.
And they're in the same genre but very different approaches to it. And I finished one and literally picked up the next one the next day. So that's Axiom Verge 2 and then Metroid. Guys. And then Metroid Dread. So Metroidvanias. And so I played these games back to back. I don't know what the groans were about. I really liked Axiom Verge 2.
No, I'm saying interesting choice.
Okay, Kevin's making a face though.
Can you hear my noises that I'm doing when you're saying it?
No, I can't hear those.
Wait, say it again real quick. What was the first game you said?
Axiom Verge 2.
Oh.
I think something happened.
Can you hear it? I don't know.
Barely hear them.
They're not fun.
They're really quiet.
Okay, let me turn this up then. Ready? Let's try it again. Say it again.
I mean, they're really loud. They're so loud.
Axiom Verge 2.
Oh, there
Wow.
Mature.
It's fitting for the Breath of the Wild completion.
I really liked Axiom Verge too. It was really like it's a
Glitchy.
very
Lame.
relaxed. Okay, so you're saying lame, and I'm saying it's more of just like a really like slow paced, ethereal kind of walking around kind of game. You're not really that one of the things that they took out from the first Axiom Verge is they really focused a lot more on the exploration, and they ripped the combat right out of it. And you're right, Kevin. Like a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people I want all the crazy guns like in the first one. But 2 is a lot more just it's very ethereal almost. Like you're just walking around. There's this like haunting soundtrack. You're finding like little scraps of paper that kind of explain the story. And I don't know. I thought it was a chill time.
I just could not get over the look of the first game to even want to think about the second game. Like, it just looks so outdated. And I know that's something that you love, but to me, it just is like, well, I have all these other games that I want to play more, and I just never got. I almost bought the game like 5 times, and I look at the screenshots in the eShop, and I'm like, this is not a Kevin game.
Yeah, I mean, it's made to look like an 16-bit like Metroid game. Like it's
okay. So speaking of, we're gonna pause everything here. I'm gonna tell you some update because I had got Mega Man, whatever's newest one on the Switch.
11.
I hated it. It was so horrible.
What?
I wanted to like this game so bad, Alex. I played it for like an hour, and it's so unforgiving. I'm not the right guy for it.
That's the point. No, you're not
that's
the right
miserable.
guy for it.
I
That's
suck.
why I liked it.
I was playing with my buddy Jeff, and him and I played it for a whole hour, switching back and forth. And I was just like, we get to the end, and we have to start all over again. I was like, I don't want to waste my time going through the same stupid thing that barely works because controls are not very good. Screw that game. Mega Man sucks. Down with the Mega Man.
It's a hard franchise.
Oh, it was horrible. We're gonna add that one to the.
Kevin hates video games. Everyone.
Mega Man is out of here.
Okay.
Join the podcast.
Oh my god. No, I'm not going to talk about Mega Man 11. I like Axiom Verge 2. I really liked it, but I really liked it, but I understand not liking it. It's not a game that like is like, oh, you're gonna be blowing stuff. Like there's like 2 bosses in the whole game, and you can skip them entirely. It's very much a 2D walking simulator. I really liked it, but then right away after, I went over and played Metroid Dread, which for Metroidvania games is completely. They're Metroidvania games in the name, but completely different. Like Dread is like this fast-paced action pew pew shoot game.
Pew pew.
Pew pew shoot game. See, I can do the sound effects.
Good.
And I really liked Dread a lot. Like it reminded me a lot of Samus Returns. Obviously, it shares a lot of the design aesthetic choices for it. I really thought it was cool. It was nice to see Nintendo actually put story first and like kind of be like, hey, like we're actually going to move this character's narrative forward, not just kind of be like in Zelda games, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. It's like, oh shoot, that Ganon character is back.
He's back again.
He kidnapped the princess.
Hope he doesn't take the princess again.
Come on, they had Nemesis the one time.
Yeah.
just Ganon in a different.
But it was the OG one though.
Yeah. But I really liked Dread enough to 100. I 100% finished it in about 10 hours, which I was like, oh wow. Boy. Like, okay, 100% finished it on normal. If you do it on hard mode, you get more unlockable. So take that for what it's worth. I didn't do that yet.
Okay.
But like it's not a very long game, and I think I mentioned that in the review. But yeah, like it was kind of cool to like see Metroidvanias, which are a genre I really like. Like, you know, I've obviously played Metroid all my life. I played Castlevania all my life. It's not a Metroidvania, but I played Mega Man all my life, and they're literally all great. So
Amazing.
Well, you know what? No, that's not true. X7 is awful. The 3D one on PS2.
X7 one. Yeah, X7's story was good, but everything else about it was horrible.
Horrible game. But yeah, it was just kind of weird to go from like this very like slow-paced kind of walking simulator style game to Metroid Dread, which kind of keeps you jumping and shooting around.
Do you feel Metroid Dread was like, if there is a Metroidvania, this was it.
No, it's more. It definitely leans more into the action side of things than like previous Metroid games, which were more kind of a blend. There was a combat, obviously boss battles and exploration. I thought Dread was pretty low on the like. I never felt lost in the world. Like, it was always like pretty clear where you needed to go next.
Yeah, always really clear. I never have been lost in that game.
The game tells you where to go. There's a marker.
Bro, I'm
It's
always
like...
lost in that game. I can't find out where the hell I'm going. Every time. I like that game, so I will be fair with it, but man, I just suck at games. I think is like, I don't know where the hell I'm always going in circles. I'm like, I swear it was just here. How the hell do I need to get where I'm going? Even with the damn map. I don't know what's so bad with me.
You have terrible
That's
like
me in real
directional
life.
skills in
Oh,
games.
real life's even worse. I don't even know how I get home some days.
I can memorize game maps in like 10 minutes somehow, but try and tell me how to get to like someone's house in Cornwall where I've lived my whole life. Don't bother. I'm throwing it in the GPS.
If I didn't have a GPS, I wouldn't be able
Not
to
even a
make it
big
home.
city.
Jeez.
But
All right.
Yeah, so that was kind of... It was just kind of interesting to play two games that were so different but in the same genre back to back. Like, I thought that was pretty cool and wanted to highlight it. And you should definitely not besmirch Mega Man like that. But jeez,
Terrible. Come on now.
I don't know. I was really sad.
It's hard. Mega Man it looks cute, but it's meant to slap you in the butt. It's
so
a hard game.
I don't want... Okay, no, you insulted Mega Man. I need to say this. Mega Man 11 is probably the easiest game in the series. Like, it throws items at you like crazy. Like, you can get like the boots that make spikes not hurt you. You can get like all these.
I can't even get past the first level. I suck. I literally put it down. I'm like, I'm done playing this.
How?
Because it's too. His shooting is annoying. Why does he shoot in one angle? It's 2021 and we're shooting straight the whole time. Bro, bend your arm or something, because it's bananas how that still is a thing.
It's the Mega Buster.
That's so stupid.
You buy a game called Mega Man 11 without playing the 10 games before it.
Yeah, like, because my co-host told me I should play it.
It's amazing.
He's a smart co-host.
Well, my co-host didn't play Elix, did he now?
No.
I want to.
Didn't think so. You need to go play that now, and I want you to suffer, because that game is terrible at the beginning. But it is worth it. All right, Aaron, what about you? What about the next half of the year? What did you play? Something that stuck out for you.
I'm gonna go a little bit in the opposite direction.
Okay.
I remembered another one that I actually played a ton early on in the year, around March or so, probably for like the 5th time, and I restarted it yet again in like August. But Stardew Valley always pulls me back in.
Oh, yeah.
You people in Stardew Valley.
It's a fun
I
game.
freaking love that game. It's so good with mods. You've got to use mods, at least after the first playthrough anyway. Just the Stardew Valley expanded mod like doubles the actual content in the game.
Wow.
More characters, more areas to go, more difficult dungeons, and just all that stuff. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there because I don't know how a single dude can keep a game going for like 5 years and just continue to make the game like that much more worthwhile to play. Like Eric Barone he's a real guy.
Yeah. And he's got a new project coming out too. Like, there's
yeah, something about like a chocolate factory.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
chocolate factory. I forget what it's called.
Interesting.
But yeah,
I
I'll
like chocolate.
inevitably try that, I'm sure. I guess one that would be a little more relevant for this year that I played, well, not really later in the year, still in April, May, but Pokemon Snap would be the next one that I put a ton of time into this year. Sarah was pretty excited for that one, but I can't say that I didn't want to play it too, because, well, Pokemon has sapped thousands from me. What's another 80?
Yeah.
Gotta play them all. But yeah, it was a good refresh of the Pokemon Snap series, if you can call it that. Considering the last one was
It's
like
now a series.
98,
Now
I
it's
think.
a series. Yeah. See, that's a game like I remember like New Pokemon Snap. I was super hyped for. I was talking about it all the time, and
Yeah.
it came out, and I never picked it up. I never got into it. Like I was just like, oh,
I
I'll
didn't
get it a
even
little
pl-
later. I'll get
I
it a little
own it.
later.
I still haven't played it. I was so excited. I remember driving home from Best Buy going, I got it, and then it's still shrink wrap sitting in my basement. So I don't know what was going on with that.
It's a
Pretty
fun
stupid.
game. Like, yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you expect. Like, if you played the first Pokemon Snap, this is that game with new Pokemon, and it looks like it's from this decade
Mhm.
instead of last century. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing revolutionary about this. It's just another Pokemon Snap game, but that's exactly what people were asking for the last 23-ish years since the
Yeah.
last one. So I mean, like nobody can complain. It's not a 10, but it's far from a 0. It's like it's a solid game if that's the kind of game that interests you in any way. It's
I always-
essentially just like a rail shooter for kids with bright colors and Pokemon.
I always thought.
I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a rail shooter. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing that you can say past that. It's a rail shooter with Pokemon.
No, agreed.
I
But you
always
got a
thought that.
camera instead of a rifle.
I always thought the title of it too was a bit of a shot at like, stop asking us. Here's a new Pokemon Snap. Like, stop asking us. You have it.
Jeez.
Nintendo's never been very good at picking new names for their series.
Oh, let me
Oh.
grab you my new Nintendo 2DS XL.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We'll throw out
that-
the Wii U.
they definitely-
We'll throw out
The Wii
just
U,
new
yeah.
everything. Deluxe. They love deluxe.
Deluxe.
Their
Yeah.
favorite adjective.
They're
Or-
like,
It was
oh, we
plu-
know what North Americans want, deluxe.
It was.
That's what they all
It
want.
was. It was Plus for a while. During
That's
like
true.
like late Wii era, everything was Plus.
Yeah, that's true. Wii Motion Plus and the Wii Balance Board Plus. It was
Yeah,
Plus, right?
Wii Fit Plus was a thing.
Or
Yeah.
Wii Fit. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's also bad.
Yeah,
Anyways.
yeah. Gotta love the Wii.
All right. All
All
right,
right, all right.
Zahi, what about you for your game for the second half there that you really enjoyed?
So, quick little plug of my own Metroidvania game this year. Even though like it's an old game, I just wanna say quick. I finished and beat Hollow Knight.
Hey.
There you
Very
go.
cool. And now you can. Oh wait, no, you can't play Silk Song because it's never coming
No.
out.
What? Why, Alex? What was that for? That hurt.
I chose violence this morning.
Why did you choose violence? Silk Song is this sequel, and it's like it's never coming out. After beating Hollow Knight, it was like, so I didn't do the Path of Pain and the boss rush, which is like the super ultra true ending, but I got like the true ending of the base game. But the expansions they're insanely difficult, and I don't think I could have rushed all of the bosses in one go like that. So Alex, when you said exploration and getting lost, I remember when I first picked up Hollow Knight and I got tremendously lost. And I think by your standards of like what a Metroidvania would be, I think it really, that's why I remember I really feel like it would be a good mark for it, just because like I was generally not lost like Kevin lost, where I don't know where I am on the planet. But like I'm like, okay, did I pass this rock or is this a new rock? I'm like, am I backtracking? Like, I need to keep going, but I don't know where I am. It had a really, really, really good sense of exploration.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't usually get lost like that and not get like angry, but it was fun. But
I think those games are at their best when you feel like you're in a maze. When
yeah,
you feel like you're like, I am actually trying to find my way out of this place.
yeah.
Yeah, it really
I-
puts
and
you
I-
in the shoes of the character
Mhm.
whenever
It
it can do
really,
that.
it was amazing, and I loved Hollow Knight for that. I was like, if I was this cute little bug dude and I was in this place, I would be lost as crap.
Bug, dude.
Because I was like going crazy. But yeah, so about exploration, I feel like if you ever get a chance to play and beat Hollow Knight, it's a really good game that you can get quite lost in. But the game, my second half of the year game, which I started a little in September, but I had my exams and it kept getting pushed back, and then I finally beat it during my exams because I needed to de-stress. was actually Toby Fox's surprise launch of Deltarune 2, which came out for the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. So actually, interestingly enough, I chose to play Deltarune on the Switch, on the go, as my first Switch game.
It's a
And
very
let
fitting
me
game style for the Switch in that regard.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought the exact same thing because Aaron, remember I told you I've never owned a Switch before and it was like my first game. So
Yeah, I had to
Deltarune,
work on this guy. Like, you gotta
yeah,
buy the Nintendo stuff. You gotta be a
yeah.
believer.
It took
They
Aaron
put
a
a
few
thing out,
years,
you
but he
just
got
you
me,
put your
man.
money out.
How
He
could
finally got
you-
me after you and Alex and Jacob and all the Nintendo files and Kevin.
How
But I
would you
finally did it, man.
possibly play Xenoblade without?
I would love to play Xenoblade
It's
now.
a
That
game
would
I've
be
do it.
cool.
really been meaning to. I just
Oh, you all should.
I
Anyway.
I can never find the drive, I
Time?
guess, to like set it. Yeah, exactly.
It's
To
so
set
big.
aside like 80 hours in the next 2-3 weeks that I can just like get into the game,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
also have to play the second one afterwards because that's just how I am.
80 hours will get you about
Wow.
halfway through. By the way.
Okay,
Like,
well,
that's-
even worse then. I'm gonna need like 300 hours for both of them.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to derail your stories.
No, not at all. No, sorry. But yeah, so I got to play my first Switch game, and it was Deltarune, and I actually I'm pulling it out right here.
Yeah. He's,
Uh,
the
love it.
listeners, Zai is literally
Yeah.
playing as he's ignoring all of us to play Deltarune.
it's
Okay, I'm
so
playing
good.
Fire Emblem.
So pause. So it was when I did my initial review of Deltarune was one of the first games I reviewed back at Link Cable, like 3-ish years ago now, almost 3, and
While.
a while. It's been a bit, and I think I didn't really have a good grasp of my reviewing scoring at the time, and I may have been a bit overzealous with the scoring of the first one. You go back and you look at it because I was looking at my first review and I was like, wow, my style and everything was totally different than how, like right now and how I edit and how the articles look from themselves. So I would have given it a fairer review back in the day because chapter 2 was just so much better in hindsight because I'm like, so Deltarune, which is a spiritual successor of Undertale, which is one of my favorite games back on the old PS4 as well. It's the second chapter now officially being launched at 7 chapters in the game, and it was a surprise launch for free. But the next chapters going forward are going to be paid for. So you get chapter 1 and 2 for free. So I replayed chapter 1 and 2 on the Switch, and it was so good, so funny. I broke out laughing so many times with this game just because of how on point the humor was. Oh my god. Toby Fox always delivers on like the humor and the fun kind of in his games. But man, was I just bursting out laughing at scenes because it's just the characters are so funny. But it's such but why I think it's a better game than chapter 1 at least. But not Undertale as a whole yet. It still needs more meat on the bones. It lets you go into there's a really interesting like mechanic where you the player are not, how should I say, it's like you're controlling the player character and making them do things they wouldn't normally do. It's as if it's like you're the being John Malkoviching the character, like you're controlling their free will, but you don't really know it. Yeah, it's very interesting in Deltarune. You don't really know it, and the character doesn't really feel it or know it, but something's off because other characters notice. They're like, you've been acting like different, and it's only since the player takes control of the main character, and it takes that kind of concept and it gets really dark with it. and it looks very bright and fun. Toby Fox has this amazing style of subversion in his medium, and it's delivered so well. But I really love Chapter 2 for that.
Hey guys, so
It took that concept from like Chapter 1 and really fleshed it out a bit more. I think I read a really funny post. The game goes from nice in the normal route, you be the hero, save the queen, or stop the queen, get back to your city, and everything's all good. And the genocide route, or the like evil route, you pretty much gaslight your friends to like make them murder half the town, and then they become like a massive crazy killer. It's really weird. It really like deviates. It's kind of interesting. So I like Deltarune Chapter 2, and I like the happy ending though, because the evil ending is just goes
Sure
really
you do,
dark.
Zahi. Sure you
Man,
do.
it goes dark. I'm like, I started playing. I was like, have you ever done like an evil playthrough and you're like, I can't really go through with this. I am no longer comfortable.
I'm pretty
is how
sadistic
it
when it
went.
comes to video games, so I can't say I've had that.
Dude,
My best example is there's a trophy on Red Dead Redemption for
No.
tying a woman up and throwing her on a train track and watching her get run over. I got
Sounds
that
like
trophy without knowing it was a trophy.
That's like the
Wild, Wild
1910.
Come on, like it's a Wild West trope, a woman on the railroad. Like I had to
exactly.
do it.
It's like the 1910s like cartoon thing.
You just need like a Wile E. Coyote figure to come out.
Yeah.
But
If
yeah.
only.
If only.
Deltarune Chapter 2. Toby Fox, hear me. Check this out. I'm repping your game.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he's one of our listeners right now. He's vibing.
Yes. All right, Kevin. Your
All
favorite
right.
game of the year.
Hang on, I'm making sure there's no sounds playing in the background because I kept clicking on stuff. Okay, I had to click stop sounds. Okay, the back half of the year. So I want to say one game that we have already discussed, but I'm gonna save that for the next round when we say what is our favorite game of the year, and then I also have the worst game I played of the year, which I want to mention as well. But for the second half of the year, I think I'm gonna have to say Resident Evil 8: The Village, I think, was one of my more favorite games. It wasn't my favorite of the whole year, but pretty memorable in the second half at least. I did not expect it to be as... It kind of felt like a Luigi's Mansion game, where it's like you had all the different rooms inside of the castle or in each area, and you had to go and find stuff, and there was just a lot going on. The atmosphere was good, and it wasn't too long. I think that was my favorite part, because I feel like sometimes you get in a game and you really like it and it just overstays its welcome, and then you're just kind of tired of it and I don't want to play anymore. So this was a game I kept wanting to going back to over and over and over, finished it, and I was like, this was the right amount of time. I'm very happy. There's a little bit more I could do on the side, but I'm done with this game and moving on. So I'd have to give that to my shout out for that. But the other little tiny game that I played the second half is... I didn't want to mention it, but Myst VR was really fun. I actually finished that whole game, and I did not think I would get through it because I've never played Myst. So,
I think Myst is a shoot. I don't know if it's Myst or Tetris, but one of them is like the record holder for being on the most platforms.
yeah,
And
Gotta
I
be
kind
Tetris.
of
There's no way it's not Tetris.
it's got
Yeah, I
Tetris.
kinda-
It's
I
like-
That's
kinda
from like
think it's Tetris,
76.
but-
It's on everything. It's on fridges.
yeah, it is.
well, if it but then Myst comes in second place. Like Myst
Yeah,
is on everything.
It's funny that I've never played through Myst, even though it is on everything. So this was the first time I did it, and I think VR this year really just took over a lot of things in my life, and it became more of a actual gaming platform than just like a, hey, let's all try and play this for 20 minutes before we get bored. So,
Have you played? So I you mentioned Resident Evil in VR. Have you played Resident Evil 4 VR?
Yes, I have. I haven't
Because I
played much
really
of it,
want
though.
that.
I've only
I
played
really
it.
want that.
I actually bought it. I played it for like maybe 10 minutes, and then Steve, that used to write with all of us, he came over and played it for like an hour and a half, and he was addicted to it.
Yeah.
It is really fun to play.
I
But-
think I have every version but one of Resident Evil 4. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all
Well,
time.
then
And I
you
was
have
like,
to
I
get
don't have a VR headset.
Go get a Quest 2, bro. It's not too
I got
bad.
no choice. I got no choice now.
Jeez.
Oh, Nilo in the chat is saying RE Village was his favorite game of the year.
Yeah, I could see that. It probably would be my game of the year, except for the game that I'm going to mention in a few minutes here. So now let's go around one more time, and now let's mention the worst game we played this year. So
Oh,
let's talk
boy,
about the
okay.
games you've gone through and played, and we just absolutely did not like. So we don't have to go in the same order if someone wants to go first. I have one prepped and ready, so I guess I'll just take it here
I
while you guys
have
think
one.
about it. You got it? Okay, go for it.
I have, you know what, Kevin? I have one that really pissed me off this year, and that was just now that you know what, I have been wanting to get this off my chest. 12 minutes.
No.
Wow, that's surprising.
Oh.
I gave it a mediocre score, but you know what? I wish I could have given it worse. That game,
Really?
I was so mad after 5 minutes of that game, and I'm like,
Wow.
okay, we talked about this game last year. I think it was at the Game Awards or something, the Xbox
Mhm.
game show.
Mhm.
And I was like, it had Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and not Ewan McGregor. Who plays Professor X in?
Oh, is it the
I
one where you're in
I
like a
can't
little
think of,
time loop?
I can't remember his name
Yes,
either. But yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes,
he
I
plays
watched a
Professor
video
X
on
in
that one.
that. I forget his name
yeah.
too. The British guy
Patrick
who's in
Stewart?
everything.
Patrick
No,
Stewart?
No,
The
not the
younger
original.
one. The young one.
Oh.
Yeah,
Um,
but
shoot.
and I know
Keep
I have
talking.
to
I'll look
check
it
this
up.
out in a sec. Thank you. And it was that game that you're in a time loop, Aaron. I felt my soul was in a time loop in that game. Not just because I was like,
Oh my
I
god.
can't be doing the same thing again. I thought my brain was ready to explode, but I'm like, I have to finish this. This
I'm
game
actually
only
surprised you
takes 12
disliked
minutes
that.
to beat.
James McAvoy.
McAvoy,
James
that's right.
McAvoy.
That's what
Thank
it is.
you.
Like, how do you say this
Oh
name?
my god. McAvoy.
You
Like,
didn't like
no,
it that
you know
much.
what? I hated it. So, okay. The thing is, there's only technically, really, even though the game loops, one real way to kind of beat the game. Okay? However, there is an infinite amount of ways to mess up. Okay?
That's the
12
beauty of
minutes.
time travel.
That's the oh my god, I like if this is what time travel's experience, I don't ever want to time travel. So basically, if you do not do the correct series of events, almost exactly two, you will not get out of the loop and you will not win. Actually, I don't even know if that ending was a win because it was really weird and
How
messed up.
long did it take you to get through it, going through all the failures?
Okay. Oh my god.
Oh, this really, yeah. This is pretty
12
bad.
minutes, technically. 12 minutes to beat that piece of crap. I just was losing my mind because everything you do, and then the death animation was incredibly long. Like the guy that breaks into your apartment when you and your wife are just chilling, Willem Dafoe, he takes like literally an hour to choke you to death. Just man, just end it for me already. Let me start this loop again. Because
To
the
be
problem
fair,
is,
I mean, you don't die of asphyxiation in like 5
as
seconds.
no, that's
Thankfully.
exactly it. He lingers for like 12 of those or 10 of those minutes of those 12 minutes. Like it just I'm like just fucking kill me. Die already. And so if you don't do the correct series of events exactly correct every time within consecutive loops, you can't tell people what to do. There's no way to beat the game other than like the one predestined loop, you know? It's all just it's just and that's what was really annoying with it, you know? Like the voice acting was good, whatever. Sure, you can take it, James McAvoy. But like It was frustrating, Kevin. So frustrating. I was
Wow.
talking to my friend Mark at night. You know me, man. I don't get like this angry at games sometimes, but like it was just totally bad design philosophy. And the worst part was controlling the body snatcher of a character human player that felt like I was moving, I don't know, the thing instead of a normal human being from a top down perspective. Like we've had top down games for 30 years. How is it this complicated? It was it was like you're like literally thumbstick controlling him down. And I'm like, move, just walk forwards. And he wouldn't do it. I'm sorry, I'm angry. This you really triggered something.
You're very mad at this game.
Okay,
And, like,
yeah,
It
this
was
is
terrible.
taking
I'm
I've
sorry.
known
It
him
was,
for a
route.
while. I don't think I've ever seen him this passionate in a negative way.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I
Let's
know,
take a
and-
deep
right?
breath and
It was
let's move on.
terrible. So yeah,
Okay,
12 minutes.
I'm gonna go next.
It's pretty good.
You take 12 minutes to relax over there. The game that I mean, there was a couple turds that I played through this year. I think the biggest turd I played and I didn't play through and finish was Balin's shit show, whatever that game was called.
Oh,
I don't-
Wonderworld.
Yeah, I remember I think I wrote the preview for that game, playing the demo.
Yeah,
it was
I forced you to.
so bad. I could not stop laughing at how horrible it was and how glitchy, and the gameplay was just shit. And I never made it past the demo, and that was almost a shame they put the demo out so that you could just see how crappy it was, because that was a disaster of a game. So that was the worst game I didn't really play this year. The worst game that I played this year that I kind of enjoyed but also really hated was Paper Mario and the Origami King. And I was so happy to play this game because I love Paper Mario, but then the battle system in the game is so ass. You have to play these
Yep.
puzzles and they are useless. There's no reason to do it. You're not getting experience. You're not really getting anything but the coins, even though I'm spending half my coins in the battle because I suck at doing it and I wanted to figure it out for me. It was dumb. The whole game was really dumb. Everything
I feel
battle
ya.
wise, yeah, everything battle wise was terrible. The outside world was fun. It was beautiful. I enjoyed the environments. The game was funny, made me laugh, but then I'd have to use the battle system all the time. Hated it. And that just ruined the whole game for me. So that was my
Pretty
least.
much the reason I've skipped
Yeah.
the last 3 Paper Marios.
It's
Like
so-
I love the first
It's so
3 even,
sad.
Yeah.
but it's just devolved into this like
It's
game for small children essentially.
well, it's funny because it is like a game for small children, but it's not an easy game. Like some of the battles were difficult, but they
Yeah.
make it so Fisher Price simple, and then they make those puzzles so hard. It's like, what are you doing? You've changed the
Mhm.
game to make it for an easier audience for children. Yet there's no child that's going to get through this easily because it's
Yeah,
way too
like
difficult.
it's no longer an RPG, which is what made it popular in the first
yeah, it's
place.
what people want. I don't know.
I mean, I know this is an old game, but like the original Paper Mario is now on Switch Online, so you
Yeah,
can
Yeah, I
actually
saw
saw
go
that.
and back
It's
and
tempting
play.
to replay it.
Yeah,
But Thousand Year Door is the one I played
Oh.
the most. That's the one I would have to go
Yeah,
back
I
to.
love
if
that
such
I
a great
did.
game. Such a great game. The last good Paper Mario game was the Mario and Luigi game with Paper Mario in it,
Yeah.
because it actually plays like a Paper Mario
Is
game.
that Paper Jam?
Yeah, Paper Jam.
Yeah.
It's it's
Okay.
I actually just got that on 3DS this past summer and I
Yeah.
haven't played it yet.
it's a Mario and Luigi game, so it's an RPG, but Paper Mario is in it, so it's a Paper Mario game. Like
Mhm.
it's not that bad.
Cool. All right, Alex or Aaron, what do you
I-
got for worst game ever? Or not ever, for the year.
Ever.
I don't know.
Five
What
minutes.
is ever? Tell me.
Well, I guess I've got 2 that I was disappointed in. I didn't put a lot of time into either of them. I guess. Well, actually, one I didn't even buy.
That's fair.
The Baldur's Gate game I was looking forward to a lot
Mm.
whenever that was first announced, and like
Hmm.
I thought it was going to be the RPG for me this year. But closer and closer it got to release, the more like gameplay was shown, and eventually, like the game came out. There was, well, not walkthroughs, but like people playing it on YouTube and whatnot,
Mhm.
seeing exactly what the combat and everything was like. And I didn't buy it. I was
Yeah.
very disappointed in how that one turned out, like graphically and just inconsistent frames and
Oof.
I'm the
Very,
same way. I
very
didn't even
poor.
play it. I wanted to. I remember seeing it going, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, I
And
was so excited for that one.
did they ever add local co-op? Because I thought that was something they were going to add.
People were saying it was
I'm
going to be
not
the next
sure.
Elder
I stopped
Scrolls.
following it once I decided I didn't care anymore.
Yeah, it's sad.
The only other one that was kind of disappointing for me was I mean, I can't say I was disappointed because I really liked Godfall, the base game. Like I did play it a
Really?
lot. Whenever they did all the expansions and whatnot, like the expansions are great, but not one of the things that was wrong with Godfall when it first came out, like various glitches in the tower, just horribly spotty frames, even in single player, but especially in co-op. Sometimes the game just freezes. Like so many crashing issues, and like 7 months after the game came out, they put out these expansions, and they ended up being two of them I think were free, and one of them was paid, which
Yeah.
actually I already had because I got the collector's edition because of course I did. But
You're hardcore.
I anytime there's a season pass with a game I'm excited for, I always just buy it right at launch because $10 less.
Yeah.
I'm either out 75% or I saved 25%. But yeah, I was looking forward to that expansion because I thought for sure like they put so much hype in the fact that they were going to put out this massive patch fixing all of the issues that we had. Not one of the issues was fixed. Played the expansion for whatever 4 or 5 hours. Game crashed like twice. I got stuck in the ground once. Tried to play co-op with my friend and don't even have a marker telling us where to go for 20 minutes. We had to reload the level just to see where we're supposed to go. And I don't know if you've played them, but the maps aren't the easiest to memorize because they're very similar throughout. Like each realm has a different look to it, but within each realm, every level looks the exact same. So
That's why I
it's
love
hard to
Destiny.
memorize.
All
And
it looks
I'm
different.
usually good at memorizing maps, but I couldn't get that one down. But yeah, that would be the one that was the most negative taste in my mouth this year, I guess, would be Godfall's expected fix, but their expansion.
You've played Destiny and Destiny 2. Are the worlds more
I've put
memorable?
thousands of hours into Destiny 1.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
have you?
Not a lot in Destiny 2, only maybe like 200 or 300 hours in that one, but
Oh,
You
only
need to
200 or
get back on
300.
with me. Yo,
you
Destiny's an
I
easy
gotta
game to like.
explain it. So Destiny 1 would be like 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. almost
Yeah,
every day
Oh
for the
my
first
because we
8
god.
were,
months it was out.
dude, we were crazy when Destiny 2 came out. Like,
I had like 13 people from around the world that we were just all in, like we'd
yeah,
all play together. So I'd wake up, start playing the game, and well, 4 people are on. I'd be in for 6 or 7 hours. Those guys get off because they got to
Wow.
go to work or eat. Well, now the guys from the UK are up. Well, I'm playing with them now.
Wow.
That reminds me of my like hardcore like World of Warcraft days, where it was like you got your coffee, you got your breakfast, and you're just like, all right, I'm here till supper time. Like, let's
Yeah,
go.
pretty much.
Let's go.
So would you say the worlds or the planets of Destiny and Destiny 2 are better than what was in Godfall? Because they're essentially the same.
Godfall
Ish.
had more aesthetic details to it in the sense that the first time you see the realm, it looks really, really nice. But Destiny's levels are a lot easier to actually memorize the maps and know exactly where you are. Because like one corner of the map will have a distinct whatever coloration to it, or like it'll have certain types of ships littered in it. So it's very easy to just look around quick if you've played the game more than a couple hours anyway, and be like, okay, I'm in this part of the realm and I should probably go over here because there's going to be an event somewhat soon.
Right.
Godfall, I don't get that feel at all. It was like running around in just a forest. Like everything looks the same. It's pretty, but everything looks the same.
That's too bad. Like I remember the Game Awards last year because that Godfall was the first PS5 game publicly shown.
It looks really nice.
I remember being like, "Oh man, I gotta get me one of those PS5s now. I can play this game." And then like the reviews came out, and they were they were middling. Like they weren't like no one. I
Yeah.
don't
They
think a
were
lot of people
mid-length.
trashed it, but
The
like
game was
no
just, it
one-
felt very empty, and that was like the biggest
Yeah.
complaint I had when it came
Yeah,
out too.
there wasn't a lot to do. Even the end game stuff was pretty repetitive, and
Like, yeah, it was pretty.
like
It was about it.
they put all that focus on the different weapon types and whatnot, but realistically you had 2 skills for your long sword, 2 skills for your great sword, 2 skills for your hammer, like warhammer, and 2 for your spear, and 2 for your dual wield. So every single one of those weapons essentially felt the same within that category because you had the same 2 skills regardless. Whereas in the trailers at first it kind of made, or at least set the impression for me, that I mean, there would be some dual wield weapons, for example, that felt very similar and had similar abilities, but might have niches to them. Like this electrical one will put up a whatever, I don't know, something, but not have the exact same abilities as every other of that weapon type.
Oh, but you could just hear my stomach gargling because it wants food. As soon as it went silent, too, it made the noise. Okay, nice. Was that everybody, or Alex? Did you say your least favorite game of the year yet?
No, so my least favorite game of the year, and like I'm glad I'm going last because I still don't exactly know what I want to say. But
I
there's
can
You like
give you some
every
time
game?
if you need it.
I like every game. Every game is good. No, there's 2 games that I played this year that just I don't want to like they just let me down. And one of them is my fault because I know I don't like this series. I know I don't like these games, but I was like, I'm going to give it a shot again.
Oh.
And then the other one let me down, just in general. So the first one is Monster Hunter Rise. I know I'm not into
Oh.
Monster Hunter. I know
Let's
I'm
hope
not
Jacob's
into
not listening.
Monster. Oh well, if he is, well, that's too bad.
He's gonna kill
Um,
you.
Yeah, he's huge into Monster Hunter. But like I've tried 3, I tried 4, I tried I think like Ultimate or whatever, like they all have the same name. But
Plus,
Pretty much.
Monster
But-
Hunter Ultimate Plus.
yeah, but like Rise, like I was like I'm into this. All right, let's go. All the trailers hyped me up. I got the special edition because I wanted the amiibo. But I was also
Fair.
hyped for it. And like I think I put like 3 hours into it. Like I was just like, this is not for me. It's just not. I like the Monster Hunter Stories games, like the more traditional JRPGs. Those I'm fine with. But yeah, Rise just kind of like let me down. I was like, this is not for me, and that's my fault. Like I recognize it's a good game. It's just not for me. And I won't get like the expansion's coming out next year, and they're making a big deal about it. I'm like, nope, you're not getting my $20 or whatever. It's just not for me. I have to make peace with the fact that I think the Monster Hunter games look cool, and it would be really cool to get good at a Monster Hunter game, but it's just not for me. I can't get into the gameplay.
I'm the same way.
Then go play
yeah.
Monster Hunter Stories. You'll be happy then, because I've really.
I
Been
can't
liking
find it. It's too expensive.
I
Go-
love the idea of all the grinding and like stats and everything, but yeah, it's not for me either. I've tried a couple.
Yeah. And then the other one, so this is the game this one let me down because I love the first 2 and I was super hyped for this one. It's been years
I
in
think I
the
know what it is.
making. And I was so hyped for it, and then I played it, and it just Kevin, where's your fart sound effect? Because this is how it just
Oh,
landed
here we
like a
go.
wet. Yeah.
Okay, this is 2 seconds.
I know what
Hold
it
in
is.
there. You gotta click on my. Here we go. All right, we're ready.
All right. It's No More Heroes 3.
I knew it. Called it.
It
was like,
it
it's
it feels like it's trying to impersonate No More Heroes.
It's
Like it
that
doesn't
bad?
feel. It doesn't feel genuine. Like it feels like they're like, oh man. It feels like it's like, remember No More Heroes and how cool it was? Well, here's No More Heroes 3, and it's like, oh, you're not doing anything special. You're just riffing on what came before. Like No More Heroes 1 and 2 are like some of my favorite games. I bought them twice I have them on Wii and on Switch. I love those games. And 3 I was all hyped for, and I was like, this just feels like an impersonator. Like it doesn't feel it has a lot less edge to it. It has a lot less
Sucks.
it's not as funny. It's not as like I don't know. It feels like
It's the
feels like
DMC of Devil May Cry.
I was gonna say it feels like going to a Limp Bizkit concert today. It's just maybe it's past its prime.
Oh man.
But yeah, maybe that's a dated reference too. Do Zoomers know who Limp Bizkit is? But yeah, no More Heroes 3 really let me down. Like I was not having fun with it, and I was expecting I was like, man, this is like 10 years, like more than 10 years in the making. This is gonna be awesome. And I was just like, wow, this is mindless and boring.
They apparently didn't try so hard, or I don't know. They didn't really push that game very big marketing wise either, and I always kind of had a feeling like it's either something that there's a reason for that, where they didn't really try to. They're like, oh, it's out now, go play it, and everyone's like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat.
Yep. And
kind of quietly came out, and I'm starting to see why that was the case.
Yeah, it's too bad too. Like I'll show these off because I was happy I got them, and they're within arm's reach. But I went all out and got like the No More Heroes 1 and 2.
Oh
my god!
The big bundle that they're magnetic too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why can't more games do that?
Yes.
Cool.
I want that for Borderlands.
And the spine art combines.
That's awesome.
I was so hyped for No More Heroes 3, and it just let me down in the biggest way possible. If I didn't write a review for it or anything, if I had to, I'd probably give it a 5. It's not like a disaster.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's not a game you want to be playing at a 5.
No, I don't know.
No, yeah, it's ass. It's okay. Don't have to be nice to a game. Just admit it. It sucks.
I have 2 quick nominees for some terrible games this year.
Okay.
The first one was really quick. I'm not nowhere near as passionate. Actually, I am, but I'm trying to hold it. The first one is Outriders, the PS4 version originally when I got to do the demo because it didn't demo at the PS5 level. That was just a terrible, terrible experience. And if Outriders wasn't free on Games Pass, God, I don't know to play it.
That game still upsets me because it wasn't free on PC Game Pass.
I know,
I was so excited for it. It's literally just Borderlands, but it's more recent.
Borderlands is so
and less comedy.
It's still pretty fun though. I played through the whole thing with some friends, and it wasn't amazing, but I don't think it was awful.
I felt weird. I felt wet fart noise at the end. I was like, oh, that's it? Okay.
I'd still be open to playing that game. But yeah, everyone was done by the time it went on PC's Game Pass, and I had already kind of set it in my mind that I'm getting this game for $20 or less because of Game Pass, and then I would have had to spend 80, and I wasn't.
And if I can quickly mention the last one, the reason I got an Xbox Series X last year was for this game, and I had to refund it. It was quite trashy. Cyberpunk 2077. I know, buddy.
Don't you dare say it.
I know you and I have different opinions
I
about
love
this
Cyberpunk.
game. That's because he has a $4,000 computer.
Yeah, I mean,
it literally makes
the 3080 does eat it.
It looks incredible on Aaron's PC. It's remarkable.
Yeah, no, I mean I can totally empathize that I don't have the same experience that most people did with that game, 100%.
I had a much better experience on a Series X than an Xbox One.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Say, for example,
that game was poorly optimized and was not going to run on any older console
to
the level that they were advertising.
See, I even had an issue with the PC version, and that, I have a pretty beefy computer. I also got a 3080, and it wasn't the performance, it was save games that just kept getting corrupted. I
got lucky with that. I did read a lot about that, though.
Oh, it drove me nuts. I had to go back 2 hours, went through it again, and I got corrupted again at almost the same spot, and then I just gave up and I haven't gone back.
Yeah, that sucks.
I have a dream. I want to stream one day Cyberpunk 2077 unpatched on the old VCR Xbox One. There's part of me that finds that hilarious that game even came out.
I guess I have it on Xbox. It was $9 at Best Buy here, so I bought it, and I have the original Xbox One, so I should just put it in and see what happens.
Yeah, I do it because I'm looking at my Xbox Series. That's the Xbox One S, so like the little white one. I'm like, no, you're too powerful for what I want. I want to play it in the least. I want to play it in the least optimized way possible.
I want this
think
to
that
be
would be
absolute shit.
I just got to see it, and so that's my dream one day. But I don't have a.
You have some weird dreams, kid.
Yeah.
No, like, Alex is right. I see that just like trashy as worse as it can go, man.
Oh, jeez.
It's a weird dream though.
I think,
But yeah,
I think that's funny.
All right, so I'm gonna move us along here, so we're getting behind. Let's go over our favorite game we did play this year before we jump into a couple of the Game of the Year stuff from the Game Awards show. So I'm gonna go first, and I will say that I'm gonna have two kinda. My favorite game I've played this year, and then my favorite game that like came out this year. I think that's fair. Maybe we can all do the same. So my favorite game I played this year that didn't come out this year was Elix. I know I've talked about this game many, many times in this show. Elix is a very stupid game, but for some reason it is so open and you have freedom, and it feels like a Fallout or big open world type game where there's not a lot of rules of what you can do, and it's not made for the masses. So this game is very hard. And it's weird because I usually complain about hard games, about how much I hate them, but it kept drawing me in so many times. I can't say enough good things about this game. So the game is rough around the edges. It's very janky, but the story was really unique, and I got really into it. And it reminded me when I was younger, when I used to go to like the game store to rent something, and I didn't have the internet really, and I didn't know about games, so I'd literally look at the back of the case, read it, and say, this looks like a good game, and go home and try it. Because that's literally what I did. I bought this game for $8 at a used game store. I'd never heard of it. I looked at the box, and I said, you know what? I'm not even looking at reviews. Just getting it, and I'm going home and playing it. And I don't know if that helped the game or hurt it in some cause, but I really enjoyed playing that. So that I've talked about it many, many times on here. Everyone should go play Elix. You can find it super cheap. It works great on current gen consoles now, and yeah. My favorite game of the year that came out this year was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxies. That game is way, way, way underrated. Even if you don't like the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, it doesn't really follow the movies, doesn't really follow the comics exactly. It's kind of its own thing with like pieces of the other parts of it into it, so it's somewhat familiar. But I actually like the characters in the game more than I like the characters in the movie. Like, I started following the voice actors on Instagram, and it's just such a good game. It was way different than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like a movie game where it was just kind of campy and silly, and you play through silly things. Like, this game is a real game that just is using something that people like. So
yeah, I haven't played it myself personally, but I do appreciate that they didn't go like the Avengers route, like video game route, where they were like, we're telling a story. We're telling a story, and this is it.
The story was really good in it, like, and I almost want to play it again because
that's what you've been wanting, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's got branching storytelling in it, so I don't know how different it would be if I would have done things differently, but I don't know. You guys got to give it a shot. So that was
There's
mine.
one that I was eyeing. I was planning on buying that.
Oh,
I think I just ran out of money.
I wish I bought it. I did I rented it from GameFly, which I don't think you guys have in Canada, but
not anymore, I don't think.
yeah, so I got it and I played it and I had it for like 3 weeks and I got through it pretty quickly, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you can grab it on sale somewhere, it's totally a buy. Such a good game. I wish I bought it just to support them because I wish and hope there's a sequel.
Still good.
Super good game. Thank you. All right, who you got next?
I'll go next. So the two games I want to talk about. So the game from no, you know what? I'm not going to do what you did. I'm going to just pick two games from this year because I was already ready to talk about these games.
Fine. Make up your own rules. No one cares.
Well, it's okay. All right. My game from previous years that I played the most this year that I was really enjoying was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Because they just kept releasing DLC characters.
That's a pretty good choice because that game is a game that just keeps going. Well, yeah, until now. Now it's over.
It is truly ultimate.
It is.
Everyone is here.
Truly ultimate.
They added my dream character, which I was like. They added the character that I had been really wishing for since 2017, when their game came out, and I was just so happy that they added Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade 2. I say that unironically. Like, I love those characters. They're amazing. I love Xenoblade 2. I love Xenoblade. I talk about it all the time. And I hope everyone got that. I hope with whether it was Sora, Sephiroth, any of the DLC characters, or any character they added to the game, I hope everyone got that feeling that you're like, I'm so giddy, because that reveal trailer is still like, I know that like the Sephiroth and Sora one were like bigger things. Even the Steve one was like a bigger thing, because like, oh, who are these anime girls from Nintendo? Like, no one cares. But like that feeling is like, they recognize my fandom. I was super excited for that. So like, you know what? Yeah, I like your rules, Kevin. I Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I put, I'm up to about 600-700 hours into that game now.
Oh
like
my word, that's
oh, yeah,
insane!
If I had Smash Bros. Ultimate, I would be at that.
Wow.
It is my.
You can borrow mine. I haven't played it in a while.
Bruh,
Jeez,
that'd be
you
dope.
guys are
I-
hardcore.
Like, I'm not kidding. You can come over. You can borrow it.
Oh my god, I need games for the Switch. I want to play
I've
it
got a
so bad.
stack of like 12 games down there that haven't been touched in a while.
Aaron, my god.
It is.
Like I
It
said,
is my-
Nintendo gets my money.
It is my most played Switch game, and that's probably not going to change.
I hope that's your most played. Anything else? We're gonna need you to see some help.
You know what? I would have thought Animal Crossing would have got up there, but I fell off of Animal Crossing pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
anyway, I haven't played the DLC or anything, even though I bought it because I bought the stupid Switch Online pass. Yeah, so Smash Brothers was my game of the past, I guess, that I would say was my favorite game I played this year. And you know what? It'll probably be again next year. I'm not planning on stopping playing Smash Brothers anytime
When you're
soon.
playing it, you just play by yourself, or you online? Like, what are you doing?
A lot of online these days, like just kind of trying to get like characters I like into Elite Smash,
Okay.
which, yeah, I mean it's mostly that. I still have spirits I haven't got. I could finish. Well, so the thing, I could finish spirits, but I mean it would require trading in spirits that I've trained all the way up to max level. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to, so I have to get doubles so I could trade the double to get the ones I want. Because there's some you can only get by kind of fusing them into other spirits. So I've got that, and so the World of Light, so the single player mode, I finished it one time, and then you get New Game Plus, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through New Game Plus on that, which is, yeah, just a lot of Smash Brothers. And I mean the DLC, they keep adding to it. Like, well, the DLC's done now, but like, you know, they've added a bunch of stuff to that game. Okay, honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Finally rest.
Yeah, but one day.
Eternal rest.
Well, I mean, like, I honestly, like, every Smash Bros. Game I have played to 100% completion. Like, I will 100% completed every Smash
God,
Bros.
it gets
game.
so repetitive. Like it's fun, but I could not put that many hours into it.
That's my grind. That's my
The
grind.
only
I love
series
it.
I've ever done that with was Infamous. 100% all three of them. I loved
love those games.
Nice.
They were so good.
They're so
The third,
underappreciated
not as
too.
much, but they were so good.
They were way ahead of.
Second Son, I feel, is really underappreciated.
I agree.
Second Son was my least favorite, the third one.
Really?
See, I
Yeah.
liked it because I like the variety of powers. Like, I love variety in
Mhm.
games. Like, if I get all that,
I
I'm
liked
just
that too, but I think that's why I liked the second the best, because I really like Cole McGrath, and I just love lightning. It's always my favorite element in games. But then having the like one extra ability in those, I don't know. It completed Cole's story, and it gave me more things to play with, so it was just the perfect one of the three
I
for
wish-
me.
It's so sad because they're not gonna make any more of those now that like Ghost
No,
of
I don't
Tsushima's
think
out,
they
and they're
did
gonna
all that well.
no. But it's sad because they were really good. No, I'm sad.
Well,
Sorry.
I'm
well,
gonna
on
cry
that
now.
sad
Shit.
note, so on that sad note, the game that I this year, so this is a tough one because like I liked a lot of games this year too, and I think so. There's two that I'm playing right now that I haven't finished it yet, so there's no reviews up or anything. But spoiler, we'll get to eventually. It's Scarlet Nexus. I really like. I think that's a really
That one looked really good.
That's the
It's
game
a-
I feel
it's-
like I keep trying to play because you keep telling me to play it, but after Mega Man 11, I don't know.
yeah. Maybe, well,
The
That
trust is
last
broken.
recommendation, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
that's I really like Scarlet Nexus. It's not perfect game. Like it's got flaws. Like it's chapters are a bit too short. Because you have two separate stories, it kind of feels like half a game sometimes. Like you're only getting kind of half the thing. But like the characters are great. The world is really cool. The story is really messed up because it's all about like memory manipulation. So like you don't really know what your characters actually remember. So it's really cool for that. The combat's really fun because it's kind of got like an actiony Devil May Cry combat, but with a bit of like RPG elements where you can actually control your party members. I really like Scarlet Nexus. I think it's one of my favorite games of the year. It's not a perfect game. Like if I I haven't written a review, but I would probably say it would probably land in like a high 7, low 8 like type range. Like it's pretty good. So there's that one, and then there's Shin Megami Tensei 5, which I think is really, 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 really good, but really, 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 really dense and hard. Like it's kind of like it's this. Like I don't know if you guys have played many of the Shin Megami Tensei games before, but they're not like
digestible.
They're hard to get into. It's like, all right, here's
so
every.
Because I bought this game and I know I'm not gonna like it.
Here's every mechanic.
To be honest, I literally loaded it up on here because that's when I was planning to talk about.
Oh, there you go.
I haven't actually played it, but I want to.
It's a really good, like, all right, I guess the next 80 hours of my life I'm giving to this RPG, and we're gonna do the we're gonna get into it. Like it's not. Like I got a game over 30 minutes in because the game was just like, I have no sympathy for you. I'm going to kill
is
you.
it that much harder than like Persona? Like, because
I think it's I would say so because the thing in Shin Megami is that you don't like your part. It's like Pokemon. Like your main character is you fight as you, but the rest of your party are monsters that you convince to join your team. So if you convince a crappy monster to join your team, you're not going to have a good time. So imagine Persona if it was Pokemon style team building. So it's pretty hard. It's pretty dense. The mechanics are not easy to understand at first. Like they really especially when it comes to like monster fusions and skill transference. It's like, oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's exactly
and
how
then
I
like more and more up my alley.
I mean, it sounds fun.
Getting into the math and whatnot.
The difficulty is what scares me. If it's just like ridiculously hard, I get turned off so quickly.
There is an easy mode. Like I'm playing on normal, but
okay.
There's also I think it's called devil mode.
That's what I'm looking for. Easy mode.
If
there's grinding though, I'm usually okay. Like in a game where it's hard, if there's grinding to get past, I can do that. It's usually like the games that are hard where it's like it takes skill to get by. That's when I suck because no matter how many times I practice, I'm still horrible. So maybe there's some hope here for me.
It's the kind of game where I'll leave it on this. Every decision you make counts. You can't just like go into a fight and just mash A and get through it. Like you have to actually think of what you're doing before you do it. So those are my Scarlet Nexus and Shin Megami Tensei 5, I think, are two of my favorite games. I mean, like, and again, Metroid Dread I loved, Axiom Verge 2 I loved. So I played a lot of good games this year, but those two, maybe it's because I'm playing them right now, I'm like, I like those games.
Good. Did everybody go? I can't even remember what everyone's were.
Aaron and I. Aaron, did you want to take it on this one?
I couldn't remember if you went or not. I'm like, we've talked about something.
Sure. Well, as I just said, I was pretty interested in Shin Megami Tensei, so that's one that I was really excited to try this year. But the one that I actually ended up playing and enjoyed a lot more than I was expecting was Kena Bridge of Spirits. Ironically, the only one I've reviewed for you guys so far. My coworker is actually the only reason I even got that because he was super excited for it. We ended up splitting on it because you can game share with one person on PS5. And well, I 100%ed the game before he even got through the first section.
Wow.
So yeah. So I obviously got enthralled into it. Just like the art and everything. I've always been partial to animation style over super realistic art. So well, it's probably why I like Nintendo more than everything else. Just get used to that. But yeah, Kena looks really, really good. And it's because of the art style. It's a game that you could play 15, 20 years from now and it's still going to look good. Whereas you play a game that's super realistic right now, well, I mean, think back to a game from PS3 era that looked really
Mhm.
good. They look like trash now
Yeah.
by our current standards. But yeah, the combat, the exploration, the puzzles, all in Cana, like they were all really good. There was lots to collect, but not like Breath of the Wild where you need to start a full-time job prepping and setting everything aside so that you can find everything. Just from me being somewhat thorough and exploring the game as I went through, I think I had 5 of the 100 rots that I actually looked up a guide to find the last few.
Wow.
But the game does a good job of helping you figure out where they are because each of the 1, 2, 5 or 6 areas will tell you exactly how many of the rots and the hats and meditation spots and whatnot, like the 3 or 4 collectibles. It keeps tallies of how much of the X number in that area you've actually found. So you don't have to scour the entire map to find that last one. It's just one area. So even without a guide, like you could realistically do it within a couple hours or maybe a day if you're really bad at remembering where you've checked already. But yeah, that'd be the game that I actually enjoyed the most this year that I wasn't already playing from last year, which if I include that, well, as I said, I've played Genshin daily, so it's hard not to say that one.
Yeah.
But try not to beat that horse too much.
That's fair. Zahi, what about you?
It would be two quick ones. So a game that came out before that I've always wanted to play was actually Dragon's Dogma. I don't know if you guys ever got to play that RPG.
Yes, I did.
Uh,
I
I
like it a lot.
am, yeah, I do too. Actually, I was really digging it in the summer, and closer to Christmas break. I really want to get up and get too close to finishing it.
What
It
do you
came out during the
playing it on?
Series X.
Okay. I was playing on the Switch, and
Yeah,
I actually liked it on the Switch. It was very long load times, but it was fun playing in handheld.
yeah,
I
that's
didn't.
what I can't deal with that, man. I'm like, no way. But the thing was, it's somehow even on Switch, it's still like long-ish load times, and it's capped at 30 frames at like 1080. I'm like, oh, I need this game to
That's
have an next gen
that's
patch
rough.
already.
I don't know if
Oh,
they're
it's
gonna do it. That game's
terrible.
pretty old.
Yeah, that's why.
Maybe
I'm like, I
if
need a remaster.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say that's from the PS3 era, right? Like late
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
20s, early 2010. I think it was
2011,
2000.
2011.
Oh, it was 2011. Okay.
Yeah, it came out at the exact same
Oh,
time as Dark Souls did, but got massively overshadowed by it, even
yeah.
though it got a huge following and fan
I remember
base.
that one coming out, and I was interested because I love dragons.
Yeah,
But
um, so I really wanted to get back in because like I want to go back and finish a lot of my backlog, and it's one of the games that, and you know what, going forward, it's really fun. And the other persistent game had to have been, as usual, my love of Destiny 2. I think I brought it up earlier in the conversation. I was even telling Alex the other day. I was like, I'm gonna get him to play Destiny 2 one day.
me or
Um,
him?
Alex,
Okay.
Alex has never like really been gung ho into it. I need to get that to happen one day. I need to shoot some space wizards, kill a god or two.
I do miss Destiny 1.
Oh, I know, man, so good.
It's funny,
Finally,
the
someone
Destiny
else.
2 was killed for me by the first, no, I think it was the second DLC that came out. The very first mission in it, right
Yeah,
at the end, Brother Vance is supposed to spawn and you talk to him to finish that mission. He didn't
yeah,
spawn in
and
for me, and I never played Destiny 2 again.
No.
It ticked me off.
we need to get that. We need to play again, man. But yeah, those would be my two.
Cool.
Very cool.
All right, so we're gonna shift gears over here. I know we're running a little long, but I wanted to go over the Game Awards a little bit. I'm gonna just go through a handful of the categories and just kind of say a little bit of what was nominated, what was won, and then we can kind of throw our thoughts into it. Just a little bit. We're gonna go over the main ones. We're gonna skip all the esports and other random ones at the end. So, let me go back to this. I just had it. The first one I'm going to talk about would be for the best narrative, which was a little surprised, and I'm a little biased for pulling this one up if you guys were following it at all.
Mhm.
But the best narrative games that were nominated. So for those of you just listening, the Game Awards show was I keep thinking of the date. Was it the December 9th, I think it was? It was 2
Yeah, it
Thursdays
was.
ago. And our boy Jeff Keighley, your guys' fellow
Yeah.
Canadian friend over there, puts on this show. It's a yearly thing now. It's kind of like, well, trying to become like the Oscars or the Grammys type of a big award show, but it's still got a little bit of a, we're going to use this to just advertise events and stuff, and then there's also some awards that go along with it. So the
saw-
prestigiousness of it, I don't think is exactly there yet, but it's drawing in better numbers every year from what I'm getting right. So
I saw a tweet that was like, imagine if the Oscars was 3 hours of trailers for movies.
yeah,
I was like, oh wait, yeah, you're right. It's completely different.
it's
But
very
yeah, like it tries to be like, but that's what gamers want.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm okay with it. I think
Yeah.
that I wish they had less awards and they gave more attention to the ones they had, because I feel like the way they do it is they go way too quick over some, and then they spend even the ones that are important, like the game of the year or this, and this, where it's like, the big ones, we only spend like a minute on it, when I feel like it should be a couple minutes to kind of appreciate all the ones that are nominated. But I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a
For
whole different
sure.
I
story.
can agree with that.
So let's just talk about the main categories, I thought. So best narrative was one I thought was interesting. The nominees were Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxies, and Psychonauts 2. And I kind of thought this was going to go to Life is Strange, because I feel like that's the whole game is a narrative. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
that
really
would have been my guess too.
that's what I
Mhm.
thought. But Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxies actually won, and I was pretty happy because that game, I think, just like I said earlier when I was talking about how much I liked it, I did not know it was so story driven to be an actual like story game. I thought it was just a shooter with some fun elements in it. So that one
Yeah, I
kind of
really
caught.
got the impression that it's like like Mass Effect when it was in its prime
Yeah,
in
it
terms of
feels that way.
the feel of it.
Yeah, it doesn't have. I wouldn't say obviously the depth isn't there because it's not a real big RPG, but it's got
Yeah,
RPG elements in it, which I think help. And just the dialogue and the stuff. There is a lot of stuff you can do that way for a narrative. So I'm pretty happy that one.
It was well deserved. Like I think, and you said it earlier too. Like it takes those characters and does them well, and you've got a lot to build.
It
off
does
of
them
there.
justice.
Yeah, I think it was well deserved. It was surprising but well deserved.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on. We had the best indie game, which I think is a pretty big category too, that they did not spend enough time on, because I feel like these need the most attention because these are the smaller companies that don't usually have the biggest
Mhm.
budget behind them.
these are the ones that benefit most from this kind
Right,
of thing.
exactly.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
the nominees were 12 Minutes, Zahi's favorite
Gross.
game, Death's Door, Inscription, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and Loop Hero. And the winner was Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which I was not surprised. But I'm more surprised that this is considered indie, and it's hard to believe. I mean, I know that it's an indie game. It's hard to believe the game is an indie game with how beautiful
Mhm.
it
It's
is.
very polished.
It just it's
Like the combat was so fluid.
it's just almost hard to believe that a smaller studio made that game, because it looks like a Pixar movie. So
Yeah.
It's almost unfair to the other nominees in that category that they're just so good.
I was actually a little surprised at this one. I thought Death's Door was a really strong.
I was gonna say you like Death's Door.
It plays like Zelda mixed with Dark Souls, so I was like, oh, what's not to like here? I thought that because that one was so. Every time it was mentioned, everyone kind of like ears perked up. Everyone was excited to hear about like Death's Door coming to like.
It just came to Switch too.
Yeah, like everyone's always like excited to hear about it. So I was a little surprised it didn't win on just momentum, because Kenna was a few months old at this point. Like, so it was kind of like sometimes like old, like whether you're not you're a new game. I don't know. You're more in the public discussion. So I was, but it was not, like Kenna is another like really well deserving game of that, I think.
I completely agree. All those games I think were pretty good games. I don't think there's any that I would have been upset if they won.
12 minutes.
Even that game.
Oh, that was pretty good.
They did a pretty good job at it. I didn't play the whole
I watched
game.
a playthrough of that. It enthralled me. Like I definitely liked the video I watched of it.
Yeah, you like the video. That's the
I mean,
problem.
I like puzzles, so I probably would have liked it more than you.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I got two more. I'm gonna do the best game direction for outstanding creative vision and innovation in a game, just overall design and game direction, just how the game plays, I guess. The nominees were
I'm looking at-
Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I actually was kind of hoping that Returnal would win because I think that one did
Bro,
have.
thank you. I was just gonna say that.
And I don't usually like those type of games, but I had a lot of fun with Returnal. That game was very, it was very addicting to keep going back to it. And I am not that person, and for those type of games, or for Returnal to grab me that much, and I hate, and you guys know how much I hate like Dark Souls and shit, because it's just not for me. It's too damn hard. I kept playing Returnal over and over and over, and I've got several hours in it. I'll never beat it. That's still not going to happen, but I did really enjoy it. The winner ended up
I
being
was
Deathloop.
also hoping.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
So I haven't played
good.
Deathloop yet either. I don't know if anybody else here has. There's
No,
comments about
not
that.
yet. But I would like to.
I keep
I'd like
forgetting to
to-
ask my coworker for a Steam login so I can play it.
Yeah, I own it. I just haven't been able to play it yet. Just too many other things that I'm trying to get through. Let me go back to the last category. Is there any other category you want me to cover before I go over Game of the Year that was listed? Anybody has a specific?
I have a gripe with
Uh-oh.
with one of the categories, and it's super quick. But it's for best RPG.
Okay, that's
One
what
of
I
the
was just
no-
going to talk
oh.
about. So this
Oh,
is perfect.
cool. So, one of the nominees, A, did not come out in 2021, and B, was a bad game in 2020, and it was Cyberpunk.
I agree.
I don't understand how Cyberpunk was nominated for Best RPG of 2021 when it didn't come out in 2021.
So
That annoyed
will-
me.
the date, if you look at, I think it was on their website somewhere I saw, it's the
It's
game
a
has to
technicality.
the game has to come out from like I think it's December 15th, 2020 to the day of the or like the week before the event or
which
something like that.
Cyberpunk did not do.
So
Yeah,
I
it was
don't know how it.
November, wasn't
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it didn't win, so I guess you don't have to worry about it. The winner of that category
if
ended
it-
up being Tales of Arise, which I'm very happy that
Oh,
game won because it's
Yeah,
incredible.
absolutely,
I've-
well deserved.
My buddy's playing it right now, and I've watched him play quite a
Okay,
bit
yeah.
of it, and it is just
Tales is
amazing.
quite good.
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
was December 10th.
Yeah.
Jacob's playing Tales of Arise right now, and like but the way he talks about it, it's the best game of all time.
It
He's
looks
glowing about it.
amazing. That's literally the next game I'm playing after I'm playing Ratchet and Clank right now, and I'm almost done with that, and then I'm breaking out Tales of Arise. So,
I gotta play more Mega Man.
ugh, no, that game's gonna
I
be
need to buy Tales of Arise. I was so excited for that game, and
There's so
I don't
many other
remember
things
what
getting in the
else
way.
what else came out or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't spend the $90 on it at the time, and now I've just been busy because it's Christmas and everything.
Okay,
I love the Tales series.
we are now jumping to Game of the Year and what they had, and the
Ba-da-ba.
nominees were Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. I was very shocked
competition.
by this, and
I was too.
still a little bit shocked by this. The winner ended up coming out to be It Takes Two, winning Game of the Year. So I'll say something real quick
Are
before.
you playing It Takes Two right now?
So here, yeah, I was just gonna say that I just finished it yesterday.
Yeah.
I I could not stop playing this game. My buddy came over. We played it in 2 sessions, and it's a pretty long game. 2 weekends ago, my buddy came over. We played through about half of it. We played for about 7 or 8 hours till like 2 in the morning.
wow.
And then he came over Saturday, and we played through. He came over at 10 a.m. We literally played all afternoon. I literally got an allergic reaction, needed to go to the hospital, but decided to finish the game first because it was too good.
Yeah.
Finished the game and then went to urgent care to go get steroid shots and a Benadryl shot. So
Good, as you
I'm a
should.
little bit like I've changed my mind a little bit
that's
about.
a sign of addiction, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm still itchy today from
Definition.
allergic reaction. I keep putting lotion on it during the show, but I actually really enjoyed that game. It was way different than I thought it was.
Really?
Have you all played it?
I've
haven't
heard
got
a
a
bunch
chance to
about
yet,
it. My
no.
coworker raves about it all
You've
the time. He
got
played
I
it with
live
his little
alone.
brother.
Who am I gonna play with?
find a friend, find whatever, because you can get it. You can play with anybody, because I think only one of you needs to own the game. I think.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
right.
beauty of it.
So you can just ask anyone and they'll do it. But guys, this game is like every level of the game or area, it plays like a different type of genre, which is really neat. And it has a
that's
different
cool.
like, you know how a game will have like a gimmick and it's like, okay, this is fun for the first 2 levels, but it's the same gimmick the whole game, and then you're just like, this isn't fun anymore. Every area they change the gimmick, so the type of puzzles you're doing are completely different. It's through that whole area. So
Yeah.
everything never overstays its welcome. Everything is always, okay, you're going to have a half hour, 45 minutes of doing this gimmick and you enjoy it, and then they take it away from you and you have something else later. So you don't get tired of it.
Yeah.
So-
I read somewhere it's designed as a game because it assumes one of the people playing is a traditional classic gamer,
Yeah.
and maybe they're getting their partner to play who doesn't like it. It's designed
That's
to
right.
keep non-gamers invested, but it's also good for folks like us who are we live and breathe games.
Yeah.
That variety is really nice. I think it's when it was announced as having won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, like Twitter's reaction was incredibly negative. Like they were just crapping on that decision all night.
It's-
But then like, as the weeks have gone by, I think more people are like, but yeah, you know what? It is a good game. Like it does
it does a lot of things right. As much as I'm throwing praise at it, I don't know if I would say this is the game of the year still. I just don't think the overall quality is there compared to other games. It's got good quality, but if I look at games like Metroid Dread, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil Village, like those have so much polish and they're just so well done. Like that defines the game for the year to me. And that's what I'm thinking of. But I will say that 2 weeks ago when this came out, I was like, how the hell does this game win? And then playing it and finishing it yesterday, I was able to go, okay, I could kind of see why this is in the conversation. I just don't see how it won still. But my pick out of this category probably would have been Resident Evil Village as the winner. I just think that game is just overall very good. And I already gushed about it earlier. So what about you guys? What do you think? What do you think about the winner, and what do you think should have won out of this category instead?
I would. My pick would have been Resident Evil Village. I guess the one thing I'd want to say is I get that Metroid Dread is really good. I don't think it's a Game of the Year nominee. I think it's a little too narrow-minded in scope. But yeah, I think Resident Evil Village was. I think if I played Deathloop, I might change my decision to that. But when I play it, we'll find out. But I think Resident Evil Village, I would put as Game of the Year out of those nominees.
That's fair. Okay.
Probably the one I would go with too. I haven't played it, but I watched an entire playthrough of it, and it was very interesting. It looked very good,
It's
and
pretty
it
fun.
seemed to hit all of the most requested features for the Resident Evil fans of the previous 5-10 years, where it had that feel of horror, especially in a couple of the sections, and it had some action and whatnot too, so that it wasn't just you're walking through a castle moving keys to doors.
Agreed. Zahi, what about you?
I would have personally given it to Arcane. To Arcane Studios, to Deathloop.
No.
Because I was
You meant a TV show.
That's what I
was
thought
the
too. I'm
TV
like,
show
the TV,
can't
what are
wait.
you talking
I
about?
have Arcane on the brain so much right now. I have the last 2 episodes I want to go watch, and I'm like, oh man, it's so
It's
good.
the full season that was put out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
I
full
finished
season.
it today, so it's good.
I'm sorry. It's man. I want to see more. I want to see Jinx fight Echo so badly. I'm so hyped. But I'm like getting into Arcane. No, I want to. It's because the studio of the same name, Deathloop. Because I actually have okay. Here's something I have never told you guys, but I have a really weird like soft spot for Bethesda.
I think I told you you had a child or something.
Shooters. I have a little boy. No, I love the like Dishonored, Wolfenstein kind of games that come out of Bethesda. Like I love Arcane Studios. I don't know why. I really love their like gun hoiness. I think if I play Deathloop, I'll really enjoy it. I really wanted to play it actually. I feel like that's kind of what would have gotten mine.
Okay. Interesting. All right, so that was the whole game of the year stuff. The last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here is we had a ton of big announcements that were out, and maybe just really quick, each of us talk about our favorite thing that was announced through the Game of the Year award show, if you can think of any.
Yeah.
So
I-
mine, real quick to go. I'll start us off. I loved. See, now I'm second guessing myself because I was gonna say I'm really excited for the Wonder Woman game because of the fact it's being made by the Shadow of Mordor people, and I think having a superhero type character in that world could be pretty cool. I think that's probably my first one, but I was also pretty excited about the Star Wars like Heavy Rain game that's supposed to be coming out now. Star Wars Eclipse, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not even a Star Wars guy, but like I do have a soft spot for like big narratives in the Star Wars world and games like that. So I'm pretty excited there. So
So I've got two. They're both based on sci-fi TV series.
I know one of yours.
So I'm
I know
really
both of
hyped.
them.
Yeah, I'm Star Wars. Yeah, it looks amazing, but like I'd like to see some gameplay of it.
Yeah.
I'm really hyped for the Expanse Telltale game.
I showed it to my brother, buddy. I showed the
Oh.
trailer. He's like, "Oh, I love that character." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
she's great, and the Expanse is really friggin' good. Season 6 just dropped, and like I'm loving the Expanse. I love everything about it. So really excited for that. And then they have the Telltale veterans who used to be Telltale, making a Star Trek game, and I'm like a giant Trekkie. So I'm like, all right, I've got a lot of choose your own adventure games coming up in the future. So yeah, the Expanse and
I gotta
Star
watch
Trek.
that show. Everybody talks about it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like I don't like the Expanse is sci-fi with an edge of realism to it. Like it doesn't like it's not like Star Wars or Star Trek where like, oh, let's go to warp speed and then they just go super fast and then they stop. It's like no, like there's real physics involved and they incorporate that into the world or the universe they've built, but in a kind of just happenstance way, and then everything is just really dark and gritty and very like heavy political drama about their because you've got I'm not going to go through the narrative of the Expanse, but you've got Earth, which is like basically like the authoritarian regime of the system. You've got Mars, which is this little like very militaristic but breakaway kind of like we can do our own thing type place. And then you've got the Belt, which is where all kind of like it's basically the third
story
world.
takes place.
Well, yeah, the story takes place in the asteroid belt, but it's also like the third world of space, and it's like both Mars and Earth are just they own the resources of the belt, but the belters who live there are kind of just downtrodden. So like it's just really like I love the setting of it. Like it's so creative and so like just kind of a fun spin on it. Anyway, watch The Expanse. That's my plug of this section.
Aaron, did you get a chance to watch the Game Awards?
Not really. I saw the recap afterwards, but I didn't watch it.
Nice.
I was at work at the time.
Nice. It's all good. Yeah, it was long as heck.
3 hours plus
Yeah,
a pre-show.
normally I would just throw it on at work and watch it on the TV there, but well, it's Christmas, so it's a little busy to do that for hours.
My game was probably I think it was 2, but I was really impressed with well, do that 1 second. Elden Ring looked really cool. They showed off the cinematic trailer for it. I think that was it's also my most anticipated game of 2022 so far. I mean it and like 50 other things. Oh my god. But I was really impressed and really spooked out by Hellblade 2.
Oh, that did look pretty good.
Oh,
that looked really good.
It looked really good.
I was like, after a while, I was like, yo, I'm genuinely spooked. I don't know if I can stay here any longer. That was really immersive, really impressive. Those would be my 2 picks.
Okay, cool. I forgot about Alan Wake too, and that would probably be it. Actually, I lied.
Alan Wake.
I totally forgot about that. I just like opened it up and
Alan
it's sitting
Wake.
in the front.
Alan Wake was amazing.
We could be here all night talking about these, but I think we're gonna wrap it up here because I have to go to the bathroom.
I've got it.
And
Wait, I have a
hurry
plug.
up! I
All
drank
right,
my whole
super-
drink. I'm not gonna make it.
Well, that's your problem. No. All right, super quick plug. So we just talked about the Game Awards TV show, but Link Cable Gaming, we're also doing our own Game of the Year awards.
We are.
That's right.
Tell us about
So Oh, I will. So if you head over to linkcablegaming.com, all the nominees are now up, so you can see which games we nominated in each category. So you can feel free to head over to our social medias and drop your picks for each of the categories that we're voting on to see, like, hey, what will be the reader's choice. But all throughout the week, we're going to be revealing winners and awards and prizes and who won things. And we're also be doing a giveaway, which I can't say what it is yet because we're going to be giving away a copy of our Game of the Year.
Awesome.
So I can't tell you what it is, or if I give away the secret. And actually, the only person, this is fun. I'm the only person on the call who knows what won our Game of the Year. So we do.
Yeah, you've done. I know you've done the tallies. That's
I've
good.
done the tallies. So the way we do it is a secret vote. So everyone kind of votes for everything, and then I put it all together. So that way, because we're a smaller website, we can't play every game possible. So we don't want the folks who have played the bigger, more kind of bigger AAA experiences and things like that to just dominate it. So it's a secret vote. So yeah, I'm the only one who knows what won our Game of the Year. And if you guys will allow me one question, I want to ask you guys. I know Kevin, you gotta go, so this will be super quick. But of our Game of the Year nominees for our Game of the Year awards, I want to know which ones you guys think will has won. Just to kind of, this is a fun experiment for me, really.
Okay, what were the choices again? What was listed?
Yeah.
So our 5 nominees for Game of the Year. So this is us, Link Cable Gaming: Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Halo Infinite, Deathloop, and Resident Evil Village.
Halo.
Halo.
I feel like Resi won.
Because I'm
I
guessing
feel like
that
Resident Evil.
the 4 of us voted. One of us is wearing a Halo shirt today.
Is the one I like the most.
And I know what I voted for. And I know
He does have a Master Chief helmet in his house somewhere.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I know what he
there it
voted
is.
for.
Jeez, within arm's reach.
Right here.
It had a pretty prominent display at his old place. Almost a whole room.
Jeez, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Halo.
So I got
I feel
Halo,
Resident Evil.
2 Resident Evils and a Halo. Okay, well those are. I won't reveal it here. It'll be revealed throughout the week. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought would have won, because yeah, I'm the only one here who knows what won our Game of the Year. And yeah, like, if head over to our social medias. So Link Cable. Oh my God, I can't remember what it is. We are. Link Cable 1 on Twitter. And I think Link Cable 2. Link Cable 2 on Facebook. This is really bad. I don't remember the social media I'm on all day. But head over there. You can put in your picks for what won all our categories. I think there's about 30 of them, so definitely a lot of games to pick from, and start having some discussions there. But yeah, wanted to do a plug of our Game of the Year awards, and also that there's going to be a giveaway, and it's going to be the Game of the Year. So you're going to get something good from there. And that's
Perfect.
my plug.
All right.
All right.
Any last
Thank
words
you,
here
Alex.
before I say goodbye? Or forever hold
Let's
their peace?
boogie out.
Boogie.
Or forever hold their pee.
Pee. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I just want to sit and play with all these.
I guess my last word. Yeah, I'll make my prediction for 2022 Game of the Year. I think it'll probably be Horizon.
You don't think it'll be Elden Ring?
Really? You don't
I think it'll be
God of War
Horizon.
Ragnarok?
I have a feeling that's going to be more polished.
See, I think it'll be Breath of the Wild 2.
If that actually does come out next year, that'll definitely
if it does
be
come
Horizon.
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm going with a
feeling
safe
Horizon
bet.
too.
It's gonna be good. Next year's good. There's a lot
There's
to
lots
play
of
next
games to
year.
look forward to. Oh, I can't wait for Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean that's
one more month.
A month, jeez.
Yeah, month and 9 days. I'm counting.
I'm scared that might be terrible, but we'll see. All right, guys. Thank you
I'm always hopeful.
for joining us for episode 44, going over the the year in review of gaming and a little bit of the Game Awards show. It's been a long episode, but thank you for just hanging in there. We will see you all next time. Have a good little holiday here if we don't talk, and make sure to go vote and tell us what your games of the year are. And He's
I was like, what are we voting for? But you're right.
Yeah.
I just said
The
that.
thing you just told everybody to go and do. Hopefully they listen to us. Yeah. So thanks, guys. We'll see you all later. Bye bye.
See you guys. Good night.
Adios.